Hi everybody, welcome. First of all, thank you very much for your patience. Some of you have been waiting hours, I believe, because the time that I thought this was scheduled was not the time that you thought it was scheduled for. And in true fashion, with this new moon in Taurus conjunct Uranus, things are always surprises, and this has just been a morning of surprises. I thought somebody was coming to pick something up, and in fact he was delivering it, and I thought I was going to be streaming with you tonight, Greek time, and I just got a note from my wonderful moderator Lucy, who just emailed me and said there are people waiting online for you. They've been there for hours. And I said, oh goodness, well, I better be adaptable. Uranus in Taurus. Time just to say, okay, I usually record in the evenings, but I'll record in the daytime. And that means that those of you who are on European time or Asian time or in India, or Australia or New Zealand, that means that you guys can be live, and I think often you miss out on it, or sometimes you do. So oh well, Flower Child, hi from Las Vegas, great to have you staying up late, I think, so thank you. Yeah, Australia, oh, you're all Connecticut, wonderful, and Scotland, thank you very much for joining me. So what's happening in the heavens? What can we expect now for these next few days? Because everything is so upside down, topsy-turvy. And whilst a lot of people are speaking about this square between Uranus in Taurus and Saturn in Aquarius, it's going to be stronger next year, but nonetheless it's present right now. People are getting concerned about it. You know, what does this mean? Is this more of our freedoms being taken away from us? Is this, you know, what are the consequences of Saturn in Aquarius energy? Because Aquarius is about freedom, is about the expression of the individual. And Taurus very much is a slower sign. It's not very fast. So when Uranus will go into Gemini in 2025, it'll be much happier there. So how can we deal with Uranus in Taurus? Well, what tends to happen with Uranus in Taurus, because Taurus resists change, and we've got Sun and Moon in Taurus as well right now, which is why I wanted to talk about this. Very often you can get sudden changes at this time, like sudden wake-up calls because of an accumulation of energy. It's like it's been building and building and building. I mean, I have a friend, she's a Gemini with a Taurus man. And she always says, oh God, it's like dragging a ball and chain with me. Yeah, because he's just much slower. She's zipping off here and there and everywhere. And he's just, you know, he's chilling. So Taurus energy is more chilled usually, especially if there's a lot of it. And now we've got this Uranus in Taurus energy, which anything that's been stubbornly stuck, or any habit patterns that you've really held on to that are not for your highest good, both personally and globally as a collective, these are going to blow. So let me give you the example as a collective. Taurus rules the economy, rules finances. It's been held in place since 2008, right? In 2008, 12 years ago, when Jupiter was in Capricorn again, this was the time when really things should have imploded. But the banks, they've kept printing money, central banks carried on, just doing more of the same and pumping the economy up but not adding value to the economy. And Taurus is all about value. And now we've got this Uranus in Taurus energy. Now we are seeing, sadly, not really what we want. The collapse of our economy. Yeah, things that are not healthy, things that are not well. So anything that's not well in the area of Taurus particularly, so Taurus ruling food, ruling agriculture, ruling construction, ruling accommodation where you live, ruling our food supply, ruling our economy. It also rules music and beauty, and I think we're going to get big changes in how we share our creativity and big movements back to the land. But this is all coming, shall we say, in surprises, in boom, suddenly there's something new in this area and suddenly something new in another area. So the shake-up areas are particularly in this Taurian realm. So finance. My quote on Instagram for today, I might have to paraphrase it because I think I can't get it exactly to the words. But the rich person is not the one who has the most, but the one who needs the least. And I think that's something for us to think about now, because Taurus has everything to do with what are your values. It's a shake-up in our collective value. What do we value? And the vertical Capricornian governmental, you'll do it this way, with governments telling us what to do and how to do things. This is very much the vertical energy that we've had. And with Jupiter and Saturn, every 20 years they come together. And for the last almost 200 years, they've been in earth signs, pretty much. And they're about to move into air signs, but they've been in earth signs for 200 years. And this has been our industrial age. This age of industrialization, the age of hurting our earth for our resources. And all of this is now beginning to change. It's all getting shaken up. And as we come to the end of this year, I think it's going to be really exciting. Going to have to unplug the phone. Surprises, surprises. Sorry about that. It just means that we are moving away from this top-down energy, governments telling us what to do this way, towards a reaching outwards energy as a collective, much more horizontal. Yeah, horizontal rather than vertical. And I think we're going to have to create brand new systems, brand new system of finance. And now's the time for us to be thinking independent thought. Saturn in Aquarius is about having independent thought. We've had too much where we allow others to think for us. And a lot of people like that. I've liked it too in my own way. Yeah, I haven't got to think about it. Okay, the authorities tell me I must do this and that and the other. I'll go along with it. But with Saturn in Aquarius, we've got to work hard. Saturn is what we've got to work at. And Saturn in Aquarius is about our thinking, our thought, our free thought, but working at our thinking together collectively. And I think they're going to be collectives of, I can see it already, even just amongst my clients, of people who are into gardening, who are into growing food, who are into healing, who are into sound healing. Sound healing is going to be a big one. All of this is about us now working together, but with our individual thinking caps on. That's why it's important to unplug. I unplug for 25 hours a week. I make sure, to the best of my ability, I take that time out away so that I begin to tune into my own thinking. And I'm asking these questions. What kind of an economy do we want to have? This one's had it, guys. They can keep propping it up for a little while longer, but actually it could go like a pack of cards, just like the pack of cards that went recently with COVID-19. Who could have anticipated that even at the beginning of this year? So because the energy's been stuck for such a long time, with this Uranus in Taurus energy, it's like, yeah, all of a sudden, everything bursts out. Now, I'm not saying any of this to fearmonger. This is not about fearmongering. This is about empowering. This is about if we can see the archetypal patterns of what the astrology is showing us at this time, then we can begin to put our thinking and our actions proactively together, communicating together. The nodes are changing on May the 8th. I mean, there's so much to share with you. It's like I have a build-up of things I want to share. Yes, energy healing is going to be huge. Huge, huge, huge. So we're going to really individually have to find our own unique place and then bring that into the collective. Share it. Be willing to share more. Don't say, oh, I'm not going to go on social media. I don't want to do that. I don't like that. Okay, some of you, maybe not. But there are lots of you who've got really important gifts. Taurus is about your gifts. Taurus is about your talents. Whenever I look at somebody's chart, I always look at what's on the cusp of the second house. That's the house of money, but it's also the house of somebody's talents. So planets there show me, but what's the sign on the cusp? So what's the planet ruling that? So your talents, your gifts, and you can find your gifts easily enough just by looking at what you love, at what you enjoy. Yeah? I just want to thank Lucy really for being here today. She's my moderator who comes online whenever I need her. She's amazing at such short notice. I'm truly grateful for you, Lucy, because she's really helping with the live chat. I also want to say thank you because Taurus is very much this sign of having gratitude for what you do have. And I want to thank so many of you who've joined me on Patreon. I do some exclusive posts on Patreon quite regularly. Quite a few have joined me. I'm new to Patreon, so I'm kind of finding my way. So that's something you might want to check out. But most of the material I release is free because I believe that it should be free. But I'm also grateful to the many of you who donate on the live chat as we're speaking, and so thank you for that too. And I'm also deeply grateful for you being online with me here and now, because when we're online together, we're co-creating. Thank you, Ileana, thank you. Together we're doing something. You pull out of me things that I don't imagine I'm going to say. I have a few little notes up front of things that I really want to share with you. And then the rest, we're doing something together here. We don't have to be in one another's presence anymore in order to co-create. And we're going to have to move into this Aquarian energy, which has to do with using our technology, our minds, energy, and seeing that we can change energy. We can change the way something looks as though it's going by working together. So I think this is really a difficult time, but I don't know about you, I've grown the most in my most difficult times. Simple things right now could be very uncomfortable. Uranus in Taurus, it's this bumping around. Yeah, we're bumping around. We don't know what the new Earth is going to be like after COVID-19. We don't know. We're feeling around. And different governments and different places are doing it differently. Sweden hasn't had a lockdown. America is kind of, quite polarized. It's like, wow, we're finding our own ways, doing it individually, doing it differently. And we also need to find ways of coming together. So these are some of the challenges here. So food and food supplies, they are going to be disrupted. They are already disrupted in many places. I think we need to be very conscious of, isn't it time that we create a balance in our world that everybody has enough food? We don't have starving people. This has to be something that we solve. Uranus energy, Aquarium, we're moving to this Aquarian energy. Gosh, I'm going to be talking so much more about this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction coming up at the end of the year. But I think I'm going to have to do that in a separate video, because I'm going to try to stay as focused as I can on this subject. Do I think there's going to be a war this year? It is a possibility, yes. But in some ways there's a war going on now, even though there aren't necessarily bombs going on. There's a war going on, what with the World Health Organization, with Bill Gates, with vaccination, with who's right, with Trump, with, there is a war going on. Different wars going on. So we're moving between this energy of Capricorn, all right, Pluto in Capricorn, Saturn will be going retrograding back into Capricorn in the beginning of July, Jupiter in Capricorn, still the eclipses, one more eclipse coming up in Capricorn. So the Capricorn energy has everything to do with receiving the consequences for our actions and seeing what those consequences are and learning from those consequences. And yet we're in the middle as we transition more towards the end of the year into Aquarius energy. Aquarius is about looking at the future. So Capricorn looks at the past and brings to roost our karma of the past. And the Uranus energy catapults us into an entirely different future. One which we almost can't imagine at this point. So we're having to deal with some of the heaviness, a lot of the heaviness, and moving into future possibilities here. So at the end of the bubonic plague, workers were at a premium when landowners started paying workers a wage for work. Okay, great. So there's many possibilities. Thank you very much, Eagle Spirit. Thank you. So right at this moment, we're looking at strong Taurus energy. So this is like, where can you build up some strength? Yeah, when I see somebody with Taurus rising, especially a man, he's usually muscly, likes going to the gym, likes to build up the body. Yeah, it's a bodybuilding time. So what can you do to build yourself up? Maybe through good nutrition, maybe through good exercise. I make myself go up and down those stairs holding my breath. So, 25 steps, holding the breath, and then not being breathless when I get up. Yeah, really being able to just build up the lung capacity. So what can you do to build yourself up? Yeah, really fortify the body, because it's a time of fortification as we move now. New moon energy. You're fortifying yourself, strengthening yourself. And we're moving towards a full moon in Scorpio. So we're moving between body, which is Taurus, and Scorpio, which is the soul, the spirit, the inner. So we're in this kind of an energy right now, strengthening, because the fixed signs have to do with strengthening. That's why they're so bloody stubborn, right? They stick to the ground. They say, I'm not moving this way. Sorry, I banged on the table here, but that's sometimes how fixed signs are. Don't want to budge. So what do you not need to budge on? Yeah, where can you really stay strong? What do you need to do consistently when the fixed signs are prevalent, which they are? Do you need to say, right, I'm going to consistently do my yoga. I'm going to consistently meditate. I'm going to consistently have some thinking time, some contemplation time. I'd appreciate it if you'd like the video, guys. There's a lot more online than have liked it so far. It just helps more people to be notified that I'm live at the moment. And many of you have said you're thankful you've got me live. So it would be nice if we could share that. Thank you, I'd appreciate it. Gives me time to just take a sip of water. So it's a real gratitude for the earth. Yeah, we had Earth Day yesterday, and I was lucky. Earth Day yesterday, I went and I visited my local farm, and I got these beautiful carrots. Oh, and they smell so good. Yeah, they're straight out of Mother Earth, and they're so beautiful, aren't they? Yeah. So it's really about appreciating all these things that we have, that sometimes we're not slowed down enough to be able to savor and to relish and to be nurtured by. For me this morning, just going outside in the garden and smelling the lemon blossom on the trees, that was like food. That's healing. That's just a healing vibration. So we can get healing just from a carrot, from touching a carrot and blessing the carrot, or blessing the water before you drink it. This can just give a healing frequency, and does give a healing frequency. I notice the difference between the food that I cook when I'm slowly cutting it and appreciating it and giving thanks for it, than the food that I'm rushing and my mind's all over the place. So this is such a unique year for slowing down. Why? Because we've got so many retrogrades. I was looking at it this morning, I'm like, wow. In a couple of days' time, Pluto will go retrograde. On May the 10th, Saturn goes retrograde. On May the 12th, Venus goes retrograde. On May the 14th, Jupiter goes retrograde. June the 18th, Mercury retrograde. I mean, it's just one after the other. All year long. September, Mars, October, Mercury. All year long, the planets are retrograding. Thank you, Raina. So it's such an opportunity that we've got. Thank you, Jan. To really rein yourself in. Yeah, rein in all the energy. A lot of people have said to me, they're noticing they've got a lot more energy now because they're not going out. Not having to go out and do this and go out and do that. And they're noticing that, wow, and not necessarily being around so many people, especially for introverts, is in fact very enlivening. Yeah, it gives them energy. So we gain energy by bringing your energy aura inwards now. It's a bit like I'm learning with my lovely Uli. Phones are going, everything's going. With my wonderful Uli, who does the yoga. I'm sorry about this. It just is what it is, surprises. I'm learning for the first time ever, I know many of you will have heard of this, the Mula Bandha, I think that's what it's called, you'll correct me. And I'm learning this Mula Bandha, you know, which is like, you know, pulling in your energy, and I only learned it last night, so I'm brand new to it, but it's like, wow, I can feel how, you know, you can pull your pelvis and your anus and your sexual organs, you can pull them upwards. It's new to me, some of you will have heard it, but it's like, wow. So pulling your energy inwards, this is what this retrograde is in, and really finding, yeah, wow, I can bring myself alive. Somebody's retrograding, they really want me, but I'm sorry, I'm live with you guys now, this has to take priority. The guy that's supposed to be picking up the parcel isn't supposed to come till 12 o'clock, and it's 11:27. So yes, I have various prayers that I say over the food, but I think it's just, you can just say what matters and what feels right for you. Some people chant, some people, you might just smile at it. Yeah, there are many ways to bless the food. So take your energy back. Don't allow it to be drained, to be pulled away. Notice when it begins to drain from you. And say to yourself, I'm not answering that phone. I'm unplugging that. I'm not available right now. This is what these retrogrades are teaching us. To rethink your priorities. To rethink what you really want. Pick up my package. It probably is him, but you know, you're my priority. This is my present moment here. So I just want to, there's so much more to share, and let's see how I can go with this, because there's been a lot of distractions here, and how to keep staying focused despite distractions. And that may be a challenge too. We've got a lot of distractions going on, especially, and I'm going to talk more about this, because on May the 8th, the nodes change signs. They're going to go into Gemini and Sagittarius, the nodes of the moon. And the nodes of the moon are square to Neptune. So this is going to be our challenge between knowing what is true, what is false. There's going to be a lot of confusion. And I think there already is a lot of confusion. Guys, can you hold a minute? Because I don't know what else to do. I think there is somebody actually outside waiting. So, let me check. I'm back in a moment. Oh. Yes, I'm just live streaming. Nina, I'm live streaming. Yes, I'm live streaming. Thank you. What is that? I need two separate packages. He knows. Sorry, Nina, I'm live. Wow. Thank you, my dear friend Nina. Oh gosh. Here we are. And I'm back, and you can't see me yet, but I'm talking away. And let's see whether my dear friend Nina is able to handle this. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for being patient. Goodness. Uranus, Taurus, Sun, Moon, conjunct, surprises, surprises. So thank you for waiting for me. And thank you for being patient. The retrograde energy is going to test our patience. A part of me wanted to tell him to go away and come back at 12 o'clock, which was when he was supposed to come. But okay, in the surprise, I didn't expect Nina to come up and say, I'll do it for you. So it's just knowing that there is another solution to a situation that you don't anticipate, but trusting that there is one. So yeah, it's a time for introspection, inner communication, a lot of prayer. It's a wonderful time for prayer. Really good. And prayer happens in those quiet moments. Yeah, happens when it's more peaceful. Just to tune in, to slow down. So enjoy the slower energy of these Taurus, Scorpio energies that we're under right now. And the Gemini Sag nodes are very much going to be about how flexible can we be? How versatile can we be? Thank you, Heather. How can we allow for one another's diversity? These are the mutable signs, Gemini, Sag, also Virgo, Pisces, mutable energies. So we've got the fixed energy of the Uranus and the Taurus. So all the fixed signs are very much shaken up at the moment, right? Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, Leo. You guys are getting shaken by Aquarius, so this Uranus energy. The mutables are getting shaken, will be from May onwards, are needing to show their versatility. You need to lead the way, you mutable signs. You've got to show the way. Help us to be mutable. Help us to mutate so that we are not so vulnerable to the virus. Help us to mutate in our thinking, that we are not so rigid in our thinking patterns, that we can come up with new solutions. Maybe we can't travel physically for a while. Maybe we'll find other ways of traveling. Time travel. Traveling together online. Oh, there's so much here. It's so rich. The astrology is so rich with messages. And we can use this in such an empowering way. Yes, there's going to be a lot of confusion, for sure, with the Neptune squares. I've got friends at the moment, different ones, who've been so anti-Trump, and many of you probably are, and I'm not getting into the politics here, please, but what I'm seeing is people hearing some more new information and then saying, wow, maybe he's not as bad as I thought. But is this true? Is this real? So I think there's going to be a lot of questioning and a lot of revealing of things that have been hidden. I believe that WikiLeaks have been producing all kinds of things coming out, shocks and surprises. So I think that we are going to be finding ways round, mutable, finding our ways around whatever's a lockdown, whatever is not allowed. Okay, let's let that be. Let's find ways around it. Yeah? Just as in the Great Depression, there were many people who had great difficulty, but there are now, but there were also many who thrived, who found ways, who found what people needed. And this is so different because we have the privilege with the Aquarian energy, the air energy of the technology we have. Thank you, Osboy, thank you. Thank you. So we have a tremendous gift of our internet. Let's treasure it. Let's use it constructively together. And that's what the astrology is showing. I do think it's a time to grow your own food. I was hearing from one of my clients the other day, you can grow your food inside your house. And she's going to do some classes about that, I'm hopeful, soon. So it's about accepting our diversity. You see, Gemini, this is where the North Node is going, right? The South Node is in Sagittarius. This is what we're sort of coming from collectively. So Sagittarius having to do with religions, having to do with philosophy, the separation of these religions, how we can come together, how we resolve those issues. Sagittarius having to do with travel. And Gemini, the North Node moving towards Gemini. So we're going to have eclipses in June and the end of the year, beginning now in Sag and Gemini. So Gemini having to do with the two twins, the good twin, the bad twin, the good politician, the bad politician, the good, the bad. And we've got to somehow elevate ourselves, if we can, best we can, outside of that polarity that divides us, to see that we are not divided, that we can accept a different perspective. We might not agree with it. We might heartily disagree with it, but that we accept it. We live in that duality of hot and cold, of blue and red, of whatever it is. So time travel is certainly going to be on the table. I've no doubt at all that time travel is going to be a big subject, especially as these nodes move from May the 8th onwards. So as I say, we might not be able to get on aeroplanes for a while, or we might be getting on different kinds of travel. And I think that travel is going to be healthier as well. We won't all be hopefully stuck in a tube full of all this stuff with viruses and goodness around going round, and possibly getting sicker than we need to be. So we're going to find cleaner ways of traveling. And surely time travel is a very clean way of traveling, in a very wonderful way. So I'm just going to leave you really with these thoughts. I'll take a couple of questions. I'm going to be interviewed this afternoon by dear Pam Gregory, my wonderful dear friend and colleague astrologer. She's going to interview the Pleiadians with many of your top questions. I don't think we're doing it live, but I will be posting it as soon as we've done it. So we'll be doing it later on today. So if you've got any more questions for the P's, or you've got questions here, get on your bikes. Gemini has to do with bicycles, any two wheels, anything with two wheels, your two hands making things. I think you're going to see people using their hands in whole new ways for healing, for energy healing particularly, for writing, for playing music, for doing crafts and arts. I've seen so many creative ways of making masks. It's unbelievable. So I think we may have miscommunications. Language is going to be an issue, how we use language and words. I think we're going to create new languages, light languages, languages of our vegetables, of our animals. There's languages all around us, and how we're going to use it for empowerment. So I'm going to say thank you so much for being with me. Teddy's very thankful too. He just wanted to pop in and say hello. And I'm just so grateful for you. I can't begin to say how grateful I am. And find ways around the discomforts. Try not to resist them. I've been very much resisting the fact that dogs bark in the countryside, often all night. And I've been resisting wearing earplugs. And the last 2 nights, I thought, sod it. I'll try these earplugs. And I've never had such good sleeps. So sometimes don't resist, find a new solution. And it's worked well. You know, I've suffered for 6 weeks here, really largely unnecessarily. So don't suffer, have some new ideas, new suggestions. I'm going to give a big thank you to my dear friend Nina, who took my letters that needed to get couriered and did that for me and enabled me to stay online with you today. So thanks to Nina, thanks to lovely Lucy for helping today. Thank you to those of you who helped me on Patreon, to those of you who've contributed today, and to those of you who just like the video and your good thoughts and your good vibes. Just know that they're coming right back at you from me in spades. So much, much, much love to you, to your good health, to your well-being, to your great ideas of how we create our new world together. Cheers. Santé. L'chaim. Stiniamas. Bye for now.